Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming back to our continuing excitement. All right. Let me just pull up everything. And Andrew, I am ready when you are.
All right. I am just making myself completely ready. Yeah, okay, I'm ready. So
All
the
right.
10 seconds, here we go.
Facing Lee Osborne de Monchaux. Would you like me to reiterate that I want a different doctor for my spouse? Or would you like Fontaine to do that?
White Lady. 1.5 ounces gin, 3/4 ounce triple sec, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, egg white, lemon peel. Add egg white and lemon juice to shaker. Dry shake for 10 seconds. Add gin, triple sec, and ice. Shake for 12 seconds. Strain into martini glass. Garnish with lemon peel. Lee Osborne de Monchaux had spoken with Fontaine, who pulled up.
Pulled up. After Fontaine, here we go.
Strain into martini glass. Garnish with lemon peel. Lee Osborne de Monchaux had spoken with Fontaine,
who pulled up the passenger roster and found a doctor who was willing to suddenly be Tesla Crane's personal physician, even at 1 o'clock in the morning. The new doctor was Terran Short and Anglo-Saxon white, with absurd curls and a flamboyantly bright turquoise confection around his neck that was somewhere between a tie and a cravat. Lee Osborne de Monchaux whirled back into the tiny room. "Mix Crane, I've been talking to the concierge and have arranged for a yacht club Grand Royal suite for you." "Excuse me? They told me everything in the yacht club was full." "In the Terran gravity section, unfortunately, yes. But we have a spot for you in either the Martian or lunar sections." Tesla exchanged a look with Shao, which contained within it a conversation about how much bullshit was involved in this sudden about-face. Privately, Tesla was not looking forward to the Martian level. The gravity was kinder to her back, but the smaller Mars ring had a more pronounced Coriolis effect than the Earth level. Whoops, that's supposed to be the Terran level. Thought I caught all of those.
Just making my notes. Page 98. Okay. But the smaller Mars ring, here we go.
Okay.
kinder to her back.
But the smaller Mars ring had a more pronounced Coriolis effect than the Terran level. She did not enjoy being spin-sick, but extended time in lunar gravity caused her back to elongate, and that was not great. She was also not ceding the ground that Fontaine had gained. That would be acceptable. Tesla turned from her spouse to the lawyer. That would? Maybe you want to be specific about which one? I'm just going to change that to Mars would be acceptable.
Okay.
Martian would be acceptable.
Martian. Terran. Okay. Martian would be acceptable. Here we go.
Spouse to the lawyer.
I didn't actually
No, that's
say...
not where we're punching. No, that's not where we're punching. Here we go.
Fantine had gained.
Martian would be acceptable. Tesla turned from her spouse to the lawyer. I am assuming you understand that it will not reduce the magnitude of the lawsuit we're filing against the cruise line? He wet his lips and looked down with a little bit of a sigh. Fantine and I have known each other a long time. I only count my blessings that I am not a trial lawyer. She is my favorite. I can imagine. The doctor that Fantine found for them adjusted a cat badge on his lapel. Well, he's fit enough to leave the sick bay. No drinking for the next week, though. Clear? Shal grabbed the bed rail to hoist himself upright with a grimace. Understood. His other arm wrapped around his chest as if he were trying to stabilize it. Is there anything to be done for his ribs? Tesla lay a hand on Shal's back where his hospital gown sagged open. Aside from pain management, I'm afraid it's mostly time, and I can only control that so much. The doctor turned and took a step toward the medicine cabinet on the wall, but hesitated, looking at Dr. Fish. Sorry, have you got any nanogen bandages? She crossed her arms and glared at him. It's just that the electricity generated by the bandages should speed the healing, and I know what nanogen bandages do. She turned to look outside the room, where Lee Osborne de Monchaux was fluttering his luxuriously long lashes as if he was. Everyone does catch that this is my Doctor Who cameo, correct? Good. For those of you who don't know me, there is one in every novel.
Let's do from which one is this? The new Doctor's your cameo?
Yes. If
Gotcha.
the secret code is if there is ever a doctor that I refer to only as the Doctor and never give a name, they are the Doctor. In particular, this one says I'm afraid it's mostly time, and I can only control that so much, and and found a Doctor Who on the previous page.
Gotcha.
It actually says a Doctor Who. This is the Colin Baker one. I can't see the chat until my babysitting software turns off at noon, so.
Director's commentary from Alessandra. The Doctor from Doctor Who is pretty much in every MRK book.
Correct.
Alessandra caught it. Let's see here. What was I going to do? Where lead blah 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 was fluttering his luxuriously long lashes as if either.
Aha, thank you.
He was. Here we go.
To look outside the room.
Where Lee Osborne de Monchaux was fluttering his luxuriously long lashes as if either he was the biggest flirt or he was consulting 100 different virtual menus. Given the set of his jaw, probably the latter. Lee, do you want us to get sued for refusing to offer medical treatment or for failing to prevent further injury by releasing him too soon? The ship's lawyer blinked once and fixed a clear gaze on her. Neither. My colleague has agreed to sign a waiver releasing Mick Stewart to the care of his personal physician. No, Dr. Fish snorted. Even after treating the overdose, there's still oxyfeldone in his system. I will absolutely not consent to releasing him to his personal physician. Tesla's lips thinned. Your consent is not required. She lowered Gimlet to the floor, standing with a straight back, and smoothed the dog's leash as if it were a set of legal papers. Dr. Fish tapped the communication badge on her chest. Security, Fish. Security Chief Weiser here. His reply was so fast it was as if he had either been waiting for her or listening to the entire conversation. Chief Weiser, I believe that Mick Stewart is a suicide risk and— Oh, come on! Sorry, that's actually Shal.
Okay. Oh, come on. Here we go.
Suicide risk and...
Oh, come on. should not be allowed to be unsupervised. My spouse is not, and certainly not returned to her room with ready access to... Gimlet barked at Dr. Fish, voice raised in protest along with Tesla and Shal. There's no way that I... Quiet? Let me try that again.
Quiet.
I lost pitch. Yeah, just trying to get that.
Here we go.
No way that I...
Quiet! Not quite. One more time.
Uh-huh. Here we go.
There's no way that I...
Quiet! Lee Osborne de Monchaux's voice cut through the din with shocking volume. The dazzling grace hid a layer of battle-hard iron.
Bedazzling. Here we go.
Shocking volume.
The dazzling grace hid a layer of battle-hard iron. He shot Tesla a quelling look that made it clear why Fantine liked him. Dr. Fish, do I understand you to suggest that Mick Stewart deliberately tried to take his own life? That is correct. Her chin was high and her face flushed with triumph. Doctor. Tesla turned to the physician whom Fantine had hired for them. He looked pained. He looked pained.
Had hired for them.
He looked pained. I mean, in my opinion, he's perfectly healthy, but you don't have authority on this ship. Dr. Fish's nostrils flared as she cut him off. If I believe that a passenger is a risk to themselves or others, then that's something the cruise line takes very, very seriously. So yes, my consent is required. From the tinny speaker on her chest, Weiser's voice dripped with arrogant satisfaction. Suicide is not uncommon with murder suspects. Well then, it seems that we have no choice but to restrain him in sickbay, for his own safety, of course.
Let's go back and get one quick thing.
Sure thing.
Then that's something the cruise line takes very, very seriously, because there's a little bit of a bobble on one of those.
Okay.
So just then that's something too seriously, please. Here we go.
Self or others?
Then that's something the cruise line takes very, very seriously.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, here we go. Hours spent.
Of course.
Okay. Hours spent trying to sleep in a chair by Shal's bed had set Tesla's back into such a state that she'd bypassed the safeties again. He'd shoot her out, and that goddamned personal physician had supported him. Even Gimlet had seemed to be on his side, almost tugging Tesla out of the room. By the time they reached Tesla's...
Listen... Let me do it, and that he'd shoot her out. Goddamned came out a little strange for my ear. Here we go.
Okay.
Safeties again.
He'd shoot her out, and that goddamned personal physician had supported him. Even Gimlet had seemed to be on his side, almost tugging Tesla out of the room. By the time they reached Tesla's new cabin, she had acquired a fluttering throng of ship personnel, all trying to make things right. What would make things right was to be with Shal. Rage was still shaking her veins and rattling in her joints. Behind her, Lee Osborne de Monchaux trailed with empty words. I will, of course, speak to my supervisors back at the home office, but there is only so much I can do. Having identified a possible suicide risk, Chief Weiser is morally obligated to hold your spouse for evaluation. With a bitter laugh, Tesla stopped outside the new cabin, nearly overbalancing between the reduced gravity of this centrifugal ring and the fact that she couldn't feel her feet. Gimlet looked up at her with doggy concern. Tesla accepted the hint and took in a breath. Oops. Sorry. I just accident. Bother. Come on.
I think this is probably okay, but give a listen to it. I'm listening to the word reached.
By the time they reached Tesla's new cabin,
No, I knew I didn't. I knew that I didn't
Okay,
like it, but
great.
I thought that I would keep going and then we would come back to it.
Yep. Let's just punch that phrase, please.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla out of the room.
By the time they reached Tesla,
Tesla out of the room.
By the time they reached Tesla's new cabin, she had acquired a fluttering throng.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. And then back to where we stopped. Tesla accepted the hint and took in a breath. We're going to punch right on that.
Doggy concern.
Sorry, I'm not back to the same page.
That's okay.
Oh,
You know
there
what? I
am.
want to
No,
go back.
Yep, I got it.
I want to go back one more sentence anyway. Gimlet looked up at her with doggy concern.
Okay.
The sentence right before. There we go.
Couldn't feel her feet.
Gimlet looked up at her with doggy concern. Tesla accepted the hint and took in a breath, imagining golden sunlight flooding her. Facing the lawyer, she feigned calm. What you are morally obligated to do... Oh, sorry, one more time.
Let me listen to one thing. Let's do it from imagining golden sunlight flooding her. Just keep going, please.
Okay.
And took in a breath.
Imagining golden sunlight flooding her. Facing the lawyer, she feigned calm. What you are morally obligated to do is many things, but confining my spouse against his will is not on that list. Why don't you ask Fantine about moral obligations? Lee Osborne Desmonchaux's dark skin went ashen, and he fluttered his eyelashes. I promise you that I have been keeping Fantine absolutely up to date on all of the new developments. And yet, I am still without a connection to the net. I assume that Fantine spoke to you about that? So what's going to happen now is that I'm going into my cabin. I will make myself a cocktail. When I have finished drinking it, if I do not have access to the net, then when we reach Mars, I will instruct Fantine to add that to the list of grievances. The only concession Tesla had been able to wring out of them on her own was that Chal's personal physician attended him. But the ship still insisted on 24 hours of observation. Good day. Tesla turned her back on the fluttering horde.
Caw, caw. Tesla, here we go.
Good day.
Tesla turned her back on the fluttering horde, feeling the ship whirl about her, and went into her new suite. She almost shut the door out of habit, but caught herself before she did. Behind the curtain of rage, a tiny voice in the back of her skull made a muffled protest that she had no guarantee they wouldn't lock her into her cabin.
She had no. That she had no. That's another one of those phrases. Good day, if you put that at the end of any.
Yes. Good day.
Here we go.
A muffled protest.
There's a train. I don't know if you can hear it.
Probably. One sec. Oh, yes. There it is.
Yeah.
Let me listen to where it may have come in.
Oh, yeah.
For trains.
Yes. I was going to say for questions, if anyone has any. Since we will be on hold for 5 minutes or so. Of course, I say that and can't actually see questions.
So far they're making the trains into a drinking game, and
That's perfect
Uh,
and appropriate.
and trains, planes, and lawnmowers. She remembers from last time. I think lawnmowers will be not a problem, probably, but
Oh,
not
don't
this
say
time
that,
anyway.
Andrew. Why do you say that, Andrew? Why? Why?
Because it's winter is just my guess. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm in the South. It was 70 degrees yesterday. Well, 67.
Oh my
I
God,
don't want to exaggerate.
this is true. That blows my mind. I thought everyone was under a Arctic freeze, but maybe it's just this neck of the woods.
No, it's 54 today.
You must be getting out your sweaters.
The funny thing is that I actually am in a sweater because my booth has neither heat nor air conditioning.
Gotcha.
So it's just whatever temperature it is outside. Well, maybe it's slightly different, but...
Right. Paul Keelan is asking, is Dr. Fish going to be the subject of an extended exploration in the science of being blown out of an airlock?
Quite possibly.
Well, let me listen real quick, because I think that... it's working. Go ahead.
I was going to say, can you still hear it?
It's good for me.
Okay.
All right, should I pick it up?
Mm-hmm.
Behind the curtain of rage after rage, please.
Behind the curtain of rage.
A tiny voice in the back of her skull made a muffled protest that she had no guarantee they wouldn't lock her into her cabin. She turned the bolt to keep the door from shutting all the way and let it close gently, propped open by a half-centimeter. Sighing, she knelt to release Gimlet from her lead. On this level, the floor had a slight but visible bow to it, so that the centrifugal forces pulled you down wherever you were. On the earth level, the ring was bigger, and the architects could mask the curvature at doorways. As soon as the Westie was free, she dashed in, bouncing off the floor in gazelle-like leaps to explore the room. The first room. The public sitting room, with the couches and chairs and bar and vaulted ceiling illuminated with a view of the Milky Way. Beyond that were other rooms and a sunken tub and genuine Egyptian cotton sheets grown in irrigated fields and lifted out of a gravity well for her pleasure. Tesla let Gimlet snuffle all the things and slipped her shoes off.
Tesla.
For her pleasure.
Tesla let Gimlet snuffle all the things and slipped her shoes off, sinking her toes into the dense cream carpet. Pressure, not texture. Closing her eyes, she sighed and looked at the settings on her DBPS. She did not want to dial it down into standard performance range. Groaning with dread, Tesla clicked the DBPS down a notch. A dull ache, like a day-old bruise, seemed to tinge the room with blue, purple, all of the colors, really. Any color randomly.
Like a day-old bruise, starting there, please.
A dull ache.
Like a day-old bruise seemed to tinge the room with purple and green. That matched her... General?
Matched, here we go.
Okay.
Purple and green.
That matched her general state of being. It was 6 a.m. and her brain felt bruised with fatigue. A message icon on the wall behind the bar lit, chiming softly. Simultaneously, the HUD display in her visual field flashed. Connecting. Snorting, Tesla grabbed the Lunacy Botanical Gin that they'd picked up on the moon and poured 2 ounces into the cocktail pitcher. She still wouldn't be connected if her demands hadn't been attached to expensive threats. God damn it all to hell. Truly, she should call Fantine before she finished making the cocktail, but there was an argument to be made for listening to the messages first, just in case they contained anything important.
Alessandra caught. There's an Earth level we have to go back and change to Terran level.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see here.
Sure enough.
It's on the previous page.
I remember saying it now.
Yep, me too.
Yep.
On the Earth level, the ring was bigger. Yep. Let me find it for myself. It's right before that. Okay, on the Terran level, I found the spot at least. And I need to mark it on page 101. Highlight. Strike out. Terran. Okay. I need just on the Terran level. Here we go.
Wherever you were.
On the Terran level, the ring was bigger, and the architects could mask.
That's all right.
But you only needed the Terran, yeah.
Do I hear a cat?
No, you hear Rob coming up to make lunch for himself, so he will. Mostly, it'll be okay. But if I say make lunch, I don't know. It's just I heard the door open. Oh, and there he goes. He's leaving again.
Just making level.
Wherever you were.
Sorry.
No. I was just thinking about the curvature of the floor, which I've worked with Max Fagan, who's an actual rocket engineer, and he helped me design the ship, which is a completely bonkers ship, but he was the one who told me that that you would be able to see the bow in the floor, which is really cool.
Just trying to, you know what, let's just do on the Terran level one more time. The problem I had was that before you had paused after Earth level, and this time you went on. So if you could just give me Terran level
yeah,
by itself.
And then pause. Yep.
I'm working too hard. Sorry. Here we go.
Yep.
Wherever you were.
On the Terran level.
Perfect. Thank you. I thought I could do it, but I couldn't do it.
But I believe in you, Andrew. If I weren't available, I know you could have done it.
If you weren't available, I could figure something out. But it's faster since you are available to have you just take care of it. Okay, so back to expensive.
Okay.
If her demands hadn't been attached to expensive threats. 2 expensive threats is really all I need. So on the next page.
Got it.
Okay, here we go. That did not work the way it was supposed to. We're going to do that one more time. Here we go.
And hadn't been attached
to expensive threats.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And actually, folks, that thing that I just did is actually why I'm a professional.
You know, it's so funny. I was about to just say that, something to that effect. Is that I can't do this with just anyone.
I take a certain amount of pride in it.
Yeah, it's really actually very difficult. it's very difficult, and you do it really well, which is why we're able to. I know I can pull off punches like that because you enter as you should, as if the sentence was not suddenly being started randomly in a weird place. So it's very cool.
Oh, wait, sorry. That was me just. That was me finally opening this so I can get this. Can catch up with folks and see who's here. It's nice to see who's here. Rachel, Kendra. Mute Dragon, yeah, amazed at Andrew's work, keeping an eye on me and noises, eye on the text and text. Yeah, no, he's. I could work more. More people would hire me if I were willing to engineer myself. But I have learned, having had lots of engineers, that Andrew is really, really good. And he makes me sound better. So
I'm happy to be here.
Like, yes. Basically, if you hire me, you hire Andrew.
Woo! Cool. All right, so let's take it from after anything important, which is right. Listen to the messages just in case it contains anything important. So fortunately, with a 3-minute delay on calls.
Okay.
Here we go.
Anything important?
Fortunately.
Oh, I did a punch there. No, that was a mistake. I should have punched with just in case is where we need to start.
Okay.
Here we go.
The messages first.
Just in case they contained anything important. Fortunately, with a 3-minute delay on calls. No, wait. Traveling under constant thrust meant that in the nearly 24 hours since their last call, the round-trip delay was now about 6 minutes. Great. Well, that meant she could call Fantine, make a cocktail, and listen to messages. Wetting her lips, Tesla activated the speed dial for Fantine. Lindgren, play messages. New message. Fantine's face appeared on the wall screen, peering over a length of vivid red crocheted fabric. We got cut off. Call me back as soon as you reconnect, and I'll finish replacing that buffoon's nether region with the contents of my recycler. In the category of annoying and helpful, despite Charles' insistence that they wait until he could pack his own stuff.
In the category?
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Here we go.
Contents of my recycler.
In the
Contents of my recycler.
In the category of annoying and helpful, despite Charles' insistence that they wait until he could pack his own stuff, the crew had moved their belongings for them. Now the cruise line was being responsive when she didn't want them to be. That's what came from their sudden realization that they hadn't just wailed on a random passenger, but Tesla Crane's brand new spouse. At least they appeared to have been delightfully careful about putting everything in exactly the same configuration as it had been downstairs. The Dolan Blanc vermouth was on ice, which they'd only had to do in the Junior Suisse. The Junior Suisse.
The Dolan Blanc. Here we go.
Yes.
Downstairs.
The Dolan Blanc vermouth was on ice, which they'd only had to do in the Junior Suite because the mini fridge was too small for multiple bottles. New message. It's been an hour, still waiting. If this isn't sunspot activity or some technology trumpery like that, I am walloping someone with a haddock. Tesla added an ounce of vermouth. New message. The crochet was abandoned, pushed to the side of the desk, to the desk.
She is definitely my favorite character.
She was a lot of fun to write.
The crochet was abandoned. Pushed, I think, is where we're at.
Crochet was abandoned.
Pushed to the side of the desk in a pool of spilled blood yarn, and Fantine had a stack of actual paper and her reading glasses on. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Fart-knocking mailbox again. New message. In the image on the wall screen, the crocheted fabric was longer. The hell! And now I have to add... sorry.
The hell. There we go.
Fabric was longer.
The hell! And now I have to add that to my list at confession. Are you trying to get me in trouble with my priest? I'm starting to worry, and that is never a good place for me to be. 3 hours and no contact. According to the ship, the system is just fine, so why the hell... Blazes! Can't I raise either of you? Switchboard says that you have messages set to go straight to voicemail. Seriously. Just call me when you finish having sex. If only. Tesla added a dash of orange bitters to the shaker as the image changed again. New message. The crochet now occupied a swath of the table, as if Fantine had bathed it in blood. If that beetle-headed walking bladder is keeping me from talking to you, he is already dead, stabbed and run through the ear with a blunt butt shaft. And if you're not just...
And if you are just... Here we go.
And butt shaft.
And if you are just not calling me back, I am raising your father from the grave, and he will be very, very disappointed in you. Call me. Call me. It's better.
Yeah. Yep. Here we go.
Disappointed in you.
Call me. She dropped pitcher into the ice. New message. The entire message had Fantine pacing and cursing for the 40 seconds it took to stir the martini. It was impressive, even to Tesla, who had known her for decades, and she was definitely going to be in trouble with her priest. New message. Fantine sat hunched forward at her desk. Listen, if the
We got to go back and get one that I think you'll appreciate. One sec.
Oh, no.
Here we go. Here.
She dropped pitcher into the ice.
Well, it's important to chill the outside of the vessel as well as the interior. So you put it in an ice
Keeps it colder
bath.
longer, right? Yes,
Right.
yeah, I understand.
You don't want to shock
I get it.
anything. It's like you chill the glass, you chill the pitcher.
All right, let's get that little phrase.
See,
She
I
dropped
told you
the
all I was a
ice into
professional.
the pitcher. All right, here we go.
Call me.
She dropped ice into the pitcher.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It went by and I was like, is she going to hear that? But no.
Nope.
After listen. Here we go.
Listen.
If the situation is that you're getting these, but that milk-livered dung box of its security...
But that milk-livered, here we go. She's kind of like the perfect Shakespearean insulter, isn't she?
It's Shakespeare insults and Catholic martyrs.
It's really good. But that milk-livered dung box, here we go.
That you're getting these.
But that milk-livered dung box of a security chief is keeping you from dialing out. Go to Lee Osborne Desmond Show in legal. Don't trust the vain coxcomb any further.
Don't trust. Here we go.
So in legal.
Don't trust the vain coxcomb any further than the nearest airlock, but he at least knows what happens if you're kept away from your lawyer. Also, I'm running out of yarn, and there's a lot of yardage in a circulatory system. The shark teeth vanished for a moment, and Fantine leaned toward the camera. Seriously, I'm worried. In her years of working with Fantine, Tesla had seen that expression of honest concern exactly 3 times. When she was 9 and accidentally stabbed herself with a soldering iron.
When she was 9. Here we go.
Exactly 3 times.
When she was 9 and accidentally stabbed herself with a soldering iron. When Fantine had read her father's will to her. And when she woke up in the hospital after the accident, and Fantine had been the only one willing to tell her that everyone else who had been in the PAMU lab with her was dead. Grabbing a coupe with one hand, Tesla half listened to the next message. New message. Right. I just flat out called Lee, and I'm billing it to you, and we're including that in the expenses when we sue.
Let's go back and get one thing. Had to read. When Fantine had to read her father's will to her. I think we left out a word. Yeah.
Okay.
Just that phrase. Here we go.
Soldering iron.
When Fantine had to read her father's will to her.
Thank you. Great. Moving on. I just flat out. Here we go.
Okay.
Right.
I just flat out called Lee, and I'm billing it to you, and we're including that in the expenses when we sue their festering nethers. Here's the deal. He says that my messages are all going to your stateroom, and there's no block on your stateroom's access to the net. I've got you your fancy pants doctor, and there's not even a thank you. Lee swears you aren't being held somewhere else.
Lee swears.
Not even a thank you.
Lee swears you aren't being held somewhere else, so where does that leave us? I've got to Tesla McKenzie.
Tesla. Here we go. Tesla McKenzie.
I've got to
Tesla McKenzie Crane, do you have any idea how worried? I almost threw a fucking in there.
I mean, it would be apropos. Let's do that
It
again.
would be,
Pull back
yeah.
on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Pull back on the delivery volume-wise, or lean back because it's a little too much.
Oh,
Over.
I was leaning back and turning my head, but I will do so even more.
Okay. Here we go.
I've got to
Tesla McKenzie.
I've got to
Tesla McKenzie Crane, do you have any idea how worried I've been? And are you making a goddamn cocktail when I've been worrying my ass so far off I could sell it as a resurfacing technique for the stupidly wealthy? Tesla looked up from the screen. Fantine was on her feet, leaning over the desk, with a crochet hook clenched in her hand like a weapon. Lifting her glass, Tesla tried for jaunty ease. Sorry, dearest, but these dreadful people did, in fact, keep us offline because of Shal's supposed.
Let's go back and get up at. Tesla looked up at the screen.
Okay.
You said something slightly different. Let's see here. You said up from the screen. So here we go. Just that phrase, please.
Stupidly wealthy.
Tesla looked up at the screen.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then. But these dreadful people. Here we go.
Sorry, dearest.
But these dreadful people did, in fact, keep us offline because of Shal's supposed involvement. 6 minutes behind, Fantine collapsed back into her chair. Okay, you know the drill, so talk while I talk. I did some digging while I was waiting for you. Here are some interesting things I learned. First, Alden Kuznetsova is not going to Mars for vacation. He's relocating. It's good to see you, too. Tesla saluted the screen with her glass. There's a lot. They're holding Shal on a suicide watch because they say that he tried to OD on oxyfeldone, which I'll point out neither of us have a prescription for. At least, I don't. Second, George Saikawa liquidated all of her assets before boarding the ship. Interesting about Saikawa. I found out that a server may have had a grudge against her. Tesla took a sip of her martini and spat it out, gasping. Oh, shit! Gimlet came running. With one bare foot, Tesla warded her off from sniffing the spray. She invested in Martian companies, most of which I'm guessing are shell companies for Kuznetsova. Fantine, we have a problem. Tesla spun back to grab the bottle of the
Tesla spun too.
Mm-hmm.
We have a problem.
Tesla spun to grab the bottle of lunacy gin, and the combination of her back flaring and the Coriolis.
And the combination, here we go.
Bottle of lunacy gin.
And the combination of her back flaring and the Coriolis effect almost tipped her onto her ass. Lightning crackled.
Lightning, one sec. Yep, here we go.
Onto her ass.
Lightning crackled along her spine, and she had to brace herself on the counter while the afterflash faded. Slowly, she straightened and sniffed the bottle. The gin's nose was completely wrong. Fantine, this isn't our gin. Choke artist. 2 teaspoons, approximate, orange bitters. 1 ounce tequila añejo. 1 ounce chinar. 1/2 ounce dry sherry. 1 orange peel.
Sinar, is that what it is?
Chinar.
How do you pronounce that one?
Chinar.
And then do you, the tequila, how do you say the second word?
I think it's I said something else. Añejo.
You said you had to say it with, yeah, I think it's añejo, not an, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's just do it from there, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Orange bitters.
1 ounce tequila añejo. 1 ounce chinar. 1/2 ounce dry sherry. 1 orange peel. Rinse a coupe glass with orange bitters. Stir remaining ingredients over ice for 40 seconds. Strain into glass and garnish with orange peel. Standing in front of the Sweets Matter printer, Tesla shifted from one foot to the next. The irony that the people least likely to eat printed food were also in the only cabin type with a printer. Only cabin type with a printer.
The irony, here we go.
One foot to the next.
The irony that the people least likely to eat printed food were also in the only cabin type with a printer did not escape her. But the cruise line couldn't trust the masses not to overdo it, of course. Tesla sighed. She held a multi-tool in one sweating palm. She'd had to lock Gimlet in the bedroom because the small dog kept doing incoming panic attack alerts. But Tesla was fine. She glanced at Fantine. As soon as we're done, I'll send a message to Lee Osborne de Monchaux asking for a list of the people.
As soon, here we go.
Okay.
Glanced at Fantine.
As soon as we're done, I'll send a message to Lee Osborne de Monchaux asking for a list of the people who had
Same punch, please.
Glanced at Fantine.
As soon as we're done, I'll send a message to Lee Osborne de Monchaux asking for a list of the people who had access to our cabin. Oh, speaking of, can you lean on them to unlock my account? I can't tip people, and it's rude. The engineering part of her brain had woken up. The rest of her was more than a little sleep-deprived, which did not help the part of her brain that was sluggish and 7 years out of date. She knew, in theory, that a matter printer had... Okay.
That a matter printer.
Okay.
She knew, in theory,
that a matter printer had to also have a scanner in order to work. You could, again in theory, rig it to report about its detailed scan of an item placed into the scanner's bed, even if it wasn't technically supposed to do that. Yes, I'll upload the full passenger manifest to you. Fantine looked like she was ready to come through the camera. I just rushed to the tail end of that line.
Okay. Fantine looked ready.
Manifest to you.
Fantine looked like she was ready to come through the camera. I would wonder why they haven't asked you to identify the passenger Saikawa was arguing with, but these 8-bit bozos are going to settle on Shal and not look any further. All right. What I need from you is a list of names.
What I need from you.
All right.
What I need from you is a list of names of people who had access to your cabin, as well as preserving that bottle. And you're sure it's not your gin? Tesla smirked at the out-of-sync conversation and twirled the multi-tool in her fingers. I think it's been swapped to a well gin, but it might also taste wrong because of the drugs. Will you keep recording?
Will you keep? Here we go.
Because of the drugs.
Will you keep recording while I work on this? I'm pretty sure they're watching, and I want a counter record stored off the ship.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure. Here we go.
Okay.
While I work on this?
I'm pretty sure they're watching, and I want a counter record stored off the ship. She could do this modification. There was no danger here. No mistake that she could possibly make that would kill anyone. Besides her. But that didn't count. Her heart seemed to have wrapped around her lungs, squeezing the breath out with each beat. Swallowing, she pulled a chair up in front of the printer.
Swallowing, here we go.
Out with each beat.
Swallowing, she pulled a chair up in front of the printer and sat. Now, let's talk about your physical safety, because I'm not even remotely concerned about your legal safety. We are going to crush these lac-linen ash cans into a lawsuit. Ash. Ash.
We're going to crush.
For legal safety.
We are going to crush these lac-linen ash cans in a lawsuit that will compress the clot poles into enough diamonds to make a complete set of crown jewels, and that's just where we're starting. I want you to stay in your cabin for the rest of the cruise. You and your, it's my honeymoon and I want to be alone. Did I or did I not tell you that this was a terrible idea? You did, but my problem wasn't that someone recognized me. Also, did you just try to ground me? Gritting her teeth, Tesla slapped the wireless power switch to disconnect the machine from its air charge. None of this was complicated. I want Shal with me. I do not trust them with him. Hey, since you got your hands on the manifest to get us that doctor, can you see if there are any roboticists? It's been occurring to me that it wouldn't necessarily have to be someone with direct access to the room. And there's your promise to ask Lee. Fantine made a note, frowning. Actually, I'll also ask him about the people.
Actually, let me see if I missed. Oh, I want to be. I have written down. I want to be alone. Oh, right, yeah. So we added a little extra word, I think. One sec.
Oh,
yeah, you and your, it's my, yeah.
Yep.
You and your through I want to be alone, please.
Okay.
Here we go.
The rest of the cruise.
You and your, it's my honeymoon, I want to be alone.
Thank you. Yeah, great. After Fantine made a note, frowning. Here we go.
Okay.
Made a note, frowning.
Actually, I'll also ask him about...
Made a note, frowning.
Actually, I'll also ask him about the people who had access. He'll probably give us the same copy-paste list, but I'm going to CC a Solar System Commerce Agency investigator that I know and see how that shifts his response. What do you mean you can't tip? Why in the name of St. Jerome's dirty thongs is your account locked? I'll take care of it. Speaking of which, did you get far enough in listening to my messages to hear that I'd invoked power of attorney and filed a formal complaint on your behalf? Missed that. She'd all but forgotten that Fantine could pull that trick if she wasn't able to reach Tesla for too long. What'd they say? Gripping the multi-tool, she knew that she was stalling. Swallowing the bitter acid that rose in the back of her throat, Tesla pried the cover off the matter printer. Lost on the agenda, I had plenty of time to drop, while waiting for those rank idleheads to stop obstructing our communication, is that I do not, repeat, do not want you or Shao to investigate this on your own. And I know it's going to be a temptation for both of you, but you'll muddy things, and I do not need that particular brand of carrion. Then you're going to love what I'm doing when it reaches you. She peered into the innards and grimaced. She used to be able to understand how something was built just by looking at it. Oh, sure, she still recognized parts, like that was a Serum 509V processor, which they also used at Crane Industries. But there was a difference between approving parts in a meeting and getting your hands dirty. Lindgren, show me the schematics for a Mattermaster Series 630? Keep recording while you work on what? Fantine glared at the screen and then at her sanguine pool of crochet. Look, I only brought enough yarn for the back of this dress to the office with me yesterday because I was not planning on spending the night. Nor was I anticipating that bunch of... Okay.
Let me check a couple things. You put a pause... Lindgren, show me the schematics for a Mattermaster Series 630. We didn't have the pause there. Do you want the pause?
Yes.
Okay. You put the pause after series as opposed to before Mattermaster. Do you want to put it where?
Oh, I thought I put one both places.
Take a listen. You can see what you think.
I trust you. We can just do it.
Okay. Let's do that phrase, please. There we go.
Lindgren?
Show me the schematics for Mattermaster Series 630.
Thank you. And then SERUM, I'd always thought that was serum.
Oh, probably.
But maybe it's both. Let me double check here.
It's serum.
This could be serum.
Serum, okay.
Let's see here. Like that was a Serum 509V processor, is the phrase I need.
Okay.
Here we go.
Recognized parts.
Like that was a Serum 509V processor.
Thank you. Okay, back to where we stopped. Nor was I anticipating. Here we go.
On spending the night.
Sorry, I was looking at the chat, which I shouldn't have done.
Okay.
Got it.
On spending the night.
Oh, sorry, I just bumped things. One more time?
Yep, here we go.
On spending the night.
Nor was I anticipating that bunch of mammering lobsters being quite this incompetent, and my standards were not high.
After incompetent, I think.
Okay.
Here we go.
Appropriate.
Quite this incompetent.
And my standards were not high to begin with. Ha! So mammering is one of yours. What does it mean? On a different wall, the schematics faded in with layers enabled and ready to be peeled virtually back. This made more sense and helped her map the physical components.
And helped. This made. Here we go.
Pulled virtually back.
This made more sense and helped her map the physical components with her conceptual understanding. It had been 7 years since she'd last designed something. She kept her knowledge active enough to be able to do final approvals, but that wasn't the same. And 4 days of your fancy disguise working does not make traveling without bodyguards a good idea. It's a 12-day transit. A ship that failed 4 days into a 12-day transit would be a knicker-staining disaster. Hell, ooh, that hell should not be there.
Gotcha. Blazes.
No, Blazes doesn't fit here.
I know. I'm joking.
Okay. Zoinks!
Gadzooks.
Well, actually, it is. Half a second. I say half a second. I am just quickly.
I'm going to go use the facilities real quick then. While you're half a seconding. Is that okay? Yep.
Yes, perfect. Since it'll definitely be more than half a second.
Okay.
Okay, so we're
A
replacing
suitable-
Hell. Yes, we're replacing Hell with Bartholomew's skin.
Writing this down.
Bartholomew was flayed while alive, and there's a famous statue of him where it looks like he's holding this really beautiful little gown or translucent piece of cloth that is actually his skin just wrapped around him.
Oh, that's really.
Yes.
Let's see here.
Patron saint of tanners. Oh, that's a little on the nose. I don't know.
There
that
was
he
a question.
has a lot of support for.
Sorry.
I don't know. I wouldn't have felt terribly supportive of tanners if I were him.
Oh, are you using Bartholomew's bloody skin? Paul's pointing out that you use that 2 paragraphs later. Is that okay?
Oh, darn it. Sure enough. I sure do. Thank you, Paul. I was just thinking that I hadn't used that one yet, and there I am using it slightly later.
Alessandra was asking about Fontine's use of ass as well. I don't see where it is, but apparently she says ass.
That's when she's. I think that's when she's. How do I use St. Lawrence's grill? Some different deaths. have this. Come on. Oh, I noted that someone was saying that that they normally don't listen to audiobooks because even without the delays, it just takes so long and they want to race ahead. I will note that my patrons, if you scroll back, people were invited to. Let's try those. My patrons get invited to beta read for me, so you can actually the links to the early drafts of this are still available.
Secondary question about the ass thing. It's when they finally regain 6-minute delay contact. She says, "And are you making a goddamn cocktail when I've been wearing my ass so far off I could sell it as a resurfacing technique for the stupidly wealthy? Is that okay?"
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. She's not even remotely self-censoring at that point.
Okay, great. Thanks for people showing us that. Figured out your next martyr yet?
A whole bunch of them that I haven't. It's just so many. I'm kind of. There we go. Let's try this one. No, that's one too many numbers. We'll just go with Catherine's Wheel.
Okay. With a K or with a C?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's audio.
But it does for script, right? Oh, you're going to do that though.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down as my script as well, which is why I was curious.
Anyway, the point of the thing is that if I know that at least one of you has joined the patron recently, and if you scroll back or search for the Spare Man, you should be able to get to the links to the beta reads.
All right, so after
sanctioned.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I said which is sanctioned.
A knicker staining disaster. So after knicker staining disaster, we're going to start with Catherine's Wheel. Here we go.
Okay.
Staining disaster.
Catherine's Wheel. A 99% success still means you crash on She cut off, blanching. Sorry, I wasn't thinking. Tesla wouldn't have linked the... Oops, sorry, I just accidentally deleted a bunch of stuff. Okay, we're fine now. Just delete half a page in the process of scrolling.
Here we go.
I wasn't thinking.
Tesla wouldn't have linked the accident with that analogy, but technically, yes. A laboratory that deorbited was a crash landing. Fantine cleared her throat. Point being, You're right that getting Shao out and with you is top priority. Then I want the two of you to accept house arrest, and yes, I know... I just diphthonged that weird ways.
Okay. And yes. I know. Is the yes okay?
Yes.
Okay, after I know.
Arrest, and yes.
I know, but I think it's safer. Wait, roboticist. What part of do not try to solve this on your own? Front of the mouth.
Wait, roboticist. Here we go.
Roboticist.
What part of do not try to solve this on your own are you unclear about? Tesla grimaced, flicking through layers looking for the printing feedback scanner. She used to be good at this. What'd they say? Oh, sorry, what'd they say?
What did they say?
Mm-hmm.
Be good at this.
What did they say? Bartholomew's bloody skin. I've lost track of the conversation. Ask me again, but with more details this time. And what the blazes are you working on? Fantine leaned toward.
Fantine.
So you're working on?
Fantine leaned toward the screen.
So you're working on?
Fantine leaned toward the screen, making a motion as if she were enlarging. Just enlarging.
Here we go.
So you're working on?
Fantine leaned toward the screen, making a motion as if she were enlarging the image on her end. I would tell you to try not to break anything, but trashing your stateroom is at least trouble that you can just buy your way out of, and... Oh, flaming kidney stones. Mattermaster. Tesla. That's one of Kuznetsova's companies. Hang on. Flexing her fingers, Tesla stared at the Mattermaster. Did it matter that the company which...
Did it matter?
Yeah, sorry.
You're bothered by
First
the
of all,
matter?
Uh-huh. I am.
Uh-huh.
And then I was also wondering if with Fantine I went Matter Master or Matter Master, which shape my A was.
You said this.
Mattermaster. Tesla.
Master, that's fine.
Okay.
Mattermaster. Did it matter? Are people offering, my
No,
chat is
they're
just...
offering
My chat is not refreshing.
Embiggening, perfectly cromulent are being provided as fun
Sweet.
words after enlarging. Did it signify?
I was actually thinking about going there.
Or was it important?
Did it make a difference?
That's a good one.
Thank you, Rachel. And now my live chat is running.
Okay. Make a difference. 110. Okay. Here we go.
At the Mattermaster.
Sorry, I was showing showing some comments that had been hidden.
Gotcha.
All right.
Here we go.
At the Matter Master.
Did it make a difference? Sorry. Signify
Okay.
went into my brain.
At the Matter Master.
Did it make a difference if the company was owned by Kuznetsova? She owned a lot of companies, but was involved with the daily workings of very few. Bash.
You said, did it make a difference if the company? I thought it was just going to be, did it make a difference that?
No,
But if is what you would
did
like?
it make a difference if?
Okay. Let me just update that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So after very few, here we go.
Of very few.
Bash my pox-brained head in with tablets. This is how a saint died.
Of very few.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is how I think Saint Caspian died. I'm not sure.
Here we go.
Of very few.
Bash my pox-brained head in with tablets and stab me with blunt styluses. Fantine leaned forward and rested her head on her hands. The Kuznetsova shell companies that Saikawa invested in before leaving the moon. I should have cross-referenced them. Mattermaster is part of Kuznetsova's Universal Mechanics, which also owns Imperial System ships, which owns the Lindgren. Ad-lib. 2.5 ounces sparkling water, 1 ounce simple syrup, 1 ounce lemon juice, 4 sprigs cilantro. Muddle cilantro in shaker, add lemon juice and simple syrup. Shake, strain into coupe. Top with chilled sparkling water. The Matter printer's calibration mode was engaged to activate scanning functionality. Tesla had aligned the hemisoidal scanners. She'd made a makeshift.
Idle scanners.
One more time.
Idle scanners.
She'd made a makeshift cable to tap into the programming port with her handheld to update the firmware. She'd put her wedding ring in as the calibration object. She'd tweaked every sensor head she could find. All she had to do was hit start. Sweat coated her palms and prickles clogged her throat. The muscles that ran along her spine to the base of her skull were tight and crackled as she turned her head. Hit start. That's all she had to do. She'd had to keep the dBps fairly low so she had good sensation in her hands while she worked. The hunched posture from wiring in less than perfect conditions.
The hunched, here we go.
Hands while she worked.
The hunched posture from wiring in less than perfect conditions had done her back no favors. She just needed to hit start. Fantine was going to see all of this in about 6 minutes, and she'd have a damn good guess about why Tesla was delaying. Maybe she shouldn't have locked Gimlet in the other room. Scrubbing her hands on her thighs, Tesla looked at the ceiling. Lindgren, release the hound. The electronic lock on the bedroom door unlatched, and Gimlet bounded out. She made an arcing series of leaps to Tesla and landed with a whine at her feet. Gimlet booped her calf with her snout.
Let me just check click sound on hound. Okay. Gimlet booped. Here we go.
Wine
Oh
at her
my
feet.
God. Sorry. I just caught caught Kendra's incredible. So, sorry, I just caught Kendra's incredible joke about it being a Chell company. Chell Lindgren is the astronaut for whom the ship is named, just in case
Yep.
people didn't know that.
And then she fixed the spelling.
Yes.
Okay. So Gimlet booped. Here we go.
Wine at her feet.
Gimlet booped her calf with her snout. Bright eyes stared up, and the dog leaned forward to press her head against Tesla's leg. Wetting her lips, Tesla raised her hand and put it back into her lap. Gimlet put her foot on Tesla's.
Gimlet. Here we go.
Back into her lap.
Gimlet put her foot on Tesla's and leaned against her harder. Her little head made a spot of grounding warmth against Tesla's shin. Tesla took a slow breath, trying for calm. On the screen, Fantine crowned at her crochet.
On the screen. Here we go.
All makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I understood.
Trying for calm.
On the screen, Fantine frowned at her crochet and occasionally looked up to watch Tesla. She swallowed again, looking at Gimlet. I think this is the first thing I've even modded since the accident. Whining, Gimlet snuggled.
Here we go.
It's the accident.
Whining, Gimlet snuggled closer, trying to do her job and keep Tesla centered. Right. She put one hand on the little dog's head and with the other pushed the start button. The machine whirred. No sparks, no smoke. It just did what it was supposed to do, sending a pair of arms sweeping down and around the calibration tool. When the arms stopped moving, her handheld, actually not a calibration tool, what did I call it? Calibration object. Okay.
Just write my notes here. Okay, here we go. Let me check one thing. Sending a pair. Here we go. From there and keep going, please.
Was supposed to do.
Sorry. Found it.
No problem. Here we go.
Was supposed to do.
Sending a pair of arms sweeping down and around the calibration object. When the arms stopped moving, her handheld pinged and lit up. She read the output and nearly put her head down on the table to weep with relief. It had worked exactly as designed. Some part of her had fully expected it to explode, even though there was nothing in it that was explosive. The room was too warm. Tesla wiped her palms on her legs. I keep saying calibration tool. And I should actually say wedding ring. Oh, right, because originally it was not. It was a calibration. Okay. But then I had...
What are we changing here?
swap the calibration tool for the gen. It should be swapped her wedding ring for the gen.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, and then I'm just going to keep the ring active by adding one other line. text. I'm gonna paste this into Source Connect because it's longer.
Okay.
At the bottom of the page, second line from the bottom, it's gonna be she, and then insert that. I know she, and then insert that.
Okay. So start of the machine is out.
No, it's inserting. So she slid
Okay.
the
After. Gotcha.
right,
Gotcha.
and then started the machine.
Okay.
So just insert that line between she and started. That's right. I had calibration. I had a friend who's a roboticist read this, and she's the one who suggested the wedding ring as the calibration tool or calibration object, and also that the wedding ring be platinum iridium, because her wedding ring is platinum iridium.
Okay. Track these. Okay. Tesla wiped her palms on her legs. Here we go.
Okay.
Room was too warm.
Tesla wiped her palms on her legs and swapped her wedding ring for the gin. Show me what you got. On the screen, Fantine spoke from the past. Hey, you're all right. If you need me to yell at you, let me know, but you're all right. I know. She slid the ring on, feeling Shal's presence with its weight, and started the machine. Hacking a matter printer is about as far from the accident. Tesla got off her chair too fast, and the increased Coriolis effect of the smaller Martian level made her stagger for a moment. Wincing, she caught herself on the counter and pushed off to walk into the other room, leaving Fantine talking behind her. Gimlet followed at a trot. She stared up at Tesla as if watching her were the most important job in the universe. Tesla walked into the bathroom and got a glass of water. She washed her face. She leaned on the sink, waiting to vomit. In the other room, her handheld pinged. Tesla gripped the edge of the sink for a moment longer and then walked back into the main room. At her side, Gimlet hurried along with the quick, purposeful stride.
At her side. Here we go.
Into the main room.
At her side, Gimlet hurried along with the quick, purposeful stride of a dog that was all business. Probably bringing up a lot of triggers, and I've got the manifest so I can find a shrink or something if you need someone to talk to. Oh, hey. I can't tell if that airplane is audible.
Let's see. No, not yet.
Okay.
Is it getting closer?
No, it's going further away.
Okay. Oh, hey. Let's do oh, hey.
Okay.
And to talk to.
Sorry. My bad.
Okay. Here we go.
Someone to talk to.
Oh, hey. Good job on getting that thing to work. Where are you going? I was washing my face. Tesla looked down at the readout and had an absurd sense of triumph. The profile matches Beefeater gin, which is what the ship uses for basic well cocktails. Perfectly sound gin, but nothing like lunacy. Shal is going to be so pissed. Tesla lay on her side on the massive Martian king bed and let her Accubot crawl over her. At her feet, Gimlet made a warm bundle, sighing with happy contentment as she slept. Tesla had the DBPS dialed all the way down so she could track what the Accubot was doing. The cramping striations girdling her torso made her clench her teeth. She opened her mouth, wiggling her jaw to try to relax it. Envisioning golden sunlight flowing through her body, Tesla breathed slowly through the pain. This was temporary. This would be worth it. The Accubot was a compact octopoid marvel that used the resiliency of 8 small minds to guide each needled limb independently while coordinating a treatment plan
While coordinating? Here we go.
Independently.
While coordinating a treatment plan with a central core. There's another train. There were just whistles.
Let me listen. I don't hear it yet.
It's coming closer.
Well, that will do it.
But if you're not hearing it, then we can carry on.
Let's see. Now I hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, now I hear it. Sorry. Coming closer.
Yep. All right. Any questions for me? Let's see. Oh, I miss St. Agatha. Let me know when we're clear.
Yeah, I'm listening still. To see.
Do Shal and Tesla ever drink things that aren't hard liquor? Yes, they do. Tesla will drink tea shortly. She drinks water and cider in the book.
Still can hear it.
The zero-proof cocktail recipes keep thinking they're clues about how much worse things are going to be for Tesla. It's more that I want so the names are tied to things that are happening in the book. For instance, when Tesla is getting all really intense with her privilege, I insert a cocktail that's called White Lady. But oh, that's right, and a milkshake. And then there's coffee too. But mostly, I just wanted to make sure that people who don't do alcohol also had something that they could enjoy. I make zero-proof cocktails sometimes because I like the ritual of making a cocktail, but I don't always want the side effects. I drink for flavor, not to be drunk. So I have actually debated with myself about going back and putting in a few more, but did not. I think I did actually swap out at least one more, but anyway. I don't hear it as much anymore. It sounds like it's going away.
Yep, I don't hear it either. Let's do it.
All right.
After central core.
The central core.
As the light prick of the needles found Holmes, Tesla flexed her fingers against the soft cotton sheet, breathing through the pain while she waited for the acupuncture effects to kick in. Most days, Accubot time was a sanctioned opportunity for a nap. This morning, the images from the hallway kept running through her head. Sighing, Tesla opened the passenger manifest that Fantine had liberated and splashed photos of people from Earth, Leo platforms, Mars, LMO platforms, and Venusian cloud cities across her HUD. Okay, I'm going to pause here and make a note that sometimes I say Vesuvian and sometimes I say Venusian, and that I'm going to need to make that consistent.
This is the first time we've mentioned Venusian? Or have we done it before already?
It's I'm not certain.
Okay.
The cloud surfers.
Vesuvian cloud surfer on page 84.
Yeah.
That's the only other one I'm finding.
Vesuvian?
Is that
Or Venusian?
well? I've only found one of each so far, but that could be just the PDF search function being stupid. But
okay.
Venusian on 114. Yeah, there's only one of each. It seems like.
Oh, great.
I mean, that I'm finding.
Okay.
So we said Vesuvian on page 84.
Yeah, let me see if Vesuvian is an existing word. I think it's not, because I think it's, I mean, maybe the cloud surfer is, yeah. Vesuvian refers to a volcano, and I'm actually not going for that. I am, in fact, going for Venus. So
gotcha.
We should replace the cloud surfer one.
Gotcha. That's on page 84. Let's see here.
Do you want to get that now?
I think we probably should, otherwise I'm going to forget.
Okay.
I feel like at the very bottom of page 84, 492.
Yep, I got it.
One. Okay, I'm still looking here. I got it too. All right, so 04 lock through Venusian, right?
Oh yeah, and actually I need to mark it. Venusian.
Venusian. Page 84. Vesuvian. Venusian. Okay. Ready when you're ready.
Oh, golly, I wonder if that's even how it's said.
Venusian?
Because it's Venus, why would it be Venu? Venusian.
Let's go look, but I feel like Venusian makes sense.
Yes, it is Venusian. Yay!
Great.
Or Venusian. Venusian sounds better.
Venusian, according to Merriam-Webster.
Venusian.
Venusian, of or related to the planet Venus.
Venusian, yeah. Let's do Venusian. Okay, great.
Venusian. Okay. Here we go.
Turned to her with a grin.
Sorry, helicopter.
Okay.
think that's a helicopter. No, that's a prop plane. Not that it matters.
I can't hear it. Let's just get this real quick.
Okay.
Here we go.
Turned to her with a grin.
A forelock of Venusian cloud surfer hair fell.
Are we doing with the Z? Venusian? That was an
Venusian?
S. Venusian. Venusian was what Merriam-Webster thought.
Okay. Venusian.
That's it.
Okay.
Venusian. Yep. Here we go.
Turned to her with a grin.
A forelock of Venusian cloud surfer hair. And I think I had a mouth noise anyway.
Okay. I may be able to just work with what you've done if you want me to.
You are brilliant.
Let's see here. Yeah, I can work with that. That's good. Yep, okay, we're good there. Back to page 114. I have sending a pair marked, but we got that one, looks like, so.
Yeah. I'm doing just.
So we're doing Venusian cloud cities. Here we go.
Great. I'm not there yet.
Okay. Second paragraph, last sentence.
Yeah, no, it just occurred to me that I should check Cloud Surfer. Which I apparently also spelled two different ways. Okay.
Sorry, you waiting on me?
No, I'm trying to get back to the right page.
Okay.
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 Venusian.
And Venusian, here we go.
Limo platforms.
And Venusian cloud cities across her HUD. Shal should be doing this. He always said that most murder victims were killed by someone they knew. So who knew Saikawa? Holden Kuznetsova, clearly. The magician, Niall Silver. The bald passenger. Holden had said that he didn't know anyone else on the cruise, but George appeared to have at least met other people. She tabbed through the manifest to George Saikawa's entry. Apparently, Saikawa was staying.
Apparently, here we go.
Saikawa's entry.
Apparently, Saikawa was staying in the Grand Royal Suites in the cabin next to her old one. And, interestingly, George had a group code, which meant she was traveling with a larger group, but Holden did not. Interesting, but Tesla didn't know what it meant. Data is only as good as the questions you ask. She stared at the group code. All right, Gimlet. Who else is in this group? Because that's a group that knows George. Tesla set up a search on the group code attached to George's account.
Tesla set up, here we go.
George.
Tesla set up a search on the group code attached to George's account and returned 7 other passengers. Maja
Let's
Bean
just do it right there. Which returned? You said and returned.
Okay.
George.
Sorry, I am making a... there's a missing paragraph break that I'm just noting.
Okay.
Okay. Again?
Okay, Tesla setup. Here we go.
Who's George?
Tesla set up a search on the group code attached to George's account, which you've got to be able to hear that.
That I do hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to do the same punch. That's
Yeah.
someone's
There was
got an
one
old
time.
plane.
So, yeah. Yeah. So we are, for those watching for the first time, we're 10 minutes from the airport, and normally not under a flight path, but they send the small planes over us, usually. And one time when we were trying to record, someone apparently was practicing turns around a point using our house as the point that they were turning around, because it was just a plane circling forever.
Yeah.
All right. It is fading.
Okay. Let's punch in Tesla setup. Same place, please. Here we go.
Who's George?
Which returned 7 other passengers. Maja Bean Burke Gaffney, she, her.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
We missed the Tesla
Oh,
setup
wrong
search.
George. Wrong, right,
Right,
sorry,
yes.
sorry.
That's all right. Here we go.
Who's George?
Tesla set up a search on the group code attached to George's account, which returned 7 other passengers. Maja Bean Burke Gaffney, she, her. Annie Smith, she, her. Jalna Smith, she, her. Thursday... Why did I do this to myself?
Oh, you're so mean to yourself.
I really am.
Thursilocus?
Thursilocus.
Is it Thursilocus?
I-
Pilger or Pilger?
Good questions you've asked. You've asked really good questions.
Can you get author Mary to come forward? Mary Robinette to come forward?
Why? Why do I do this?
I think you're in the clear for Thursilocus because Forvo doesn't know what I'm talking about.
It's Latin. They're very dead. Why did I do that?
Pilger.
It's actually Greek. They're probably... Pilger.
There is a Pilger.
Yep, there's several.
Forvo is not showing it up for me. I don't know why. Oh, and I'm hearing you.
John Pilger.
Pilger. It's Pilger.
Oh, Pilger, great. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I understand now. Okay.
sorry for
Thursil-
the...
Pilger. Okay. Thursilocus.
Yep. No. I think Thursilocus is... If their proofer comes back to us and says this is pronounced wrong, I will thank them for finding it.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Smith, she, her.
Oh, sorry, you got to turn my speaker down.
I did.
You did. Excellent. Here we go.
Smith, she, her.
Thursilocus Pilger, they, them. Barry Fagan, he, him. Michelle Berdines, she, her. Destin Coben, Zir. A total of 8 people. The Grand Royal Suites on the Terran level. I really thought I did a
Fetch.
find replace for this.
Let's do a little strikeout. Is your script going to reflect these changes too?
Yeah.
I'm slowing us down because I'm keeping track of it. If you're keeping track of it, just send that to Audible. That might be
Oh, yeah.
fine, right?
I thought that you were. Was thinking about when we do for Brilliance, where you need to put time markings on your script, but you don't do that with Audible. So.
Well, I put text markings that match up with the audio file number, so I know where I'm going to. But I don't. If you're keeping track of the changes, then we can send that to Audible. Then I don't have to slow us down by highlighting it in my script.
Oh, great. Yeah. No, I have to make all of these in my script, so I will. Yeah, that's easy.
Okay, great. I will stop doing it, and I will stop slowing us down a little bit. Then here we go. After 8 people, here we go.
Of 8 people.
The Grand Royal Suites on the Terran level had 8 cabins, but she and Shal had one of those. She cross-referenced the group of
She cross-referenced. Grand Royal. Getting a little cookie click out. That's interesting. Crap. Can we do the Grand Royal Suites just from there again? Because I got a clicky click, but I can't get it up. Here we go.
Of 8 people.
The Grand Royal Suites on the Terran level had 8 cabins, but she and Shal had one of those. She cross-referenced the group of individuals with the cabins, and of that list... Oh, sorry, I see what I was saying.
She crossed. Here we go.
Had one of those.
She cross-referenced the group of individuals with the cabins, and of that list, only George, Annie Smith, and Jalna Smith were staying in the Grand Royal Suites. Their cabin number was on the other side of Kuznetsova's from Tesla's. She opened Annie Smith's file and recognized her picture. She was the curvy older passenger with the low-rise chartreuse pants who had gone before Tesla at karaoke. She was an older white woman, and her face was overly smooth in the way of someone who indulged in excessive microaugma collagoidal skin treatments. She'd also been in the hall later that night after George Saikawa had been murdered. Tesla dismissed the Accubot so she could get out of bed. As the needles withdrew from her skin, feeling like little taps, she read what information she could from the manifest. Annie Smith's partner, Jalna, was thin and had a map of wrinkles lining dark skin beneath a cap of hair.
I just don't know the word collagoidal. Are
I
you
made both of those words
familiar
up.
with it? Oh, great. I'm glad you pronounced them correctly then. Beneath a cap. Here we go.
Yes.
Lining dark skin.
Beneath a cap of hair dyed a vivid sunset pink. Tesla would have remembered seeing her near Saikawa the night before last. She might have been... right, okay, let me just do that one more time. I just want a slightly different
Might have
read.
been.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The night before last.
Tesla would...
The night before last.
Tesla would have remembered seeing her near Saikawa the night before last. She might have been in the karaoke bar, but had definitely not been in the hall. Had they been who was supposed to get the misdelivered steak dinner? Tesla reactivated the DBPS and carefully pushed herself up. Gimlet raised her head, watching the Accubot as it stowed itself back in its carrier. It was always tempting to spring up when she felt better, but that was a good way to make sure that feeling better didn't last. Hauling on a dark green silk tank and a pair of flowing brown cotton trousers, she headed to the suite's writing desk with Gimlet trotting along beside her.
Let me just check a punch here.
Okay. Do we need to start looking for a place to stop?
So
Do we need to start looking for a place to stop?
we do.
I'm okay. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Okay. I'm just fixing up a punch. Are we coming up on any dialogue? Even to
No,
Gimlet?
she's by herself. She talks to Gimlet on page 117.
Okay, let's see if we can get there.
So it's
Or,
a little over a page.
all right, let's see if we can get there. Here we go.
On cotton trousers.
She headed to the suite's writing desk with Gimlet trotting along beside her. She settled in the office chair and pulled out a sheet of stupidly expensive...
She settled.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Trotting along beside her.
She settled in the office chair and pulled out a sheet of stupidly expensive stationery. The nib of her fountain pen glided along the paper as she wrote down Annie and Jalna's names. It was old school, very old school, archaically old school, which is why Tesla was writing on actual paper. Tesla's grandma had always said that the only thing that someone couldn't hack into was a piece of paper. Granted, they could steal it, but only if it was somewhere they could get to.
After steal it.
They could steal it.
But only if it was somewhere they could get to. And then they had to be able to read it, which is why she was writing in cursive. It didn't count as there's no
Didn't count. Here we go.
He's writing in cursive.
It didn't count as murder investigation if she just made lists, right? Body in recycler. George Saikawa in hall. She tapped her pen on the page. There was no telling who had dumped the body, but she had seen people in the hallway the night George Saikawa died. Dr. Fish, Candy, medic, Annie Smith, passenger, and then there were the people whom George seemed to know. Halden Kuznetsova, Niall Silver, magician.
Niall, here we go.
And Kuznetsova.
Niall Silver, magician. Bald passenger. Emmanuel Rudowski, server. Other people of interest. Josie, bartender. Yuki, server, who also matched Shal's description. Of those, the two she hadn't talked to who seemed easiest to find were the Smiths. She tapped her nails against the desk and looked down at Gimlet.
Yep.
Oh,
seems like a
yeah,
good spot.
halfway down the line.
Sorry.
I do have a Bob line, but I think this is better. Or this
Bob
is
line?
fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
This is
Okay.
Bob. But,
Oh, let's go. Yeah, this is Bob is better. Let's do that,
okay.
if you don't mind.
Down at Gimlet.
Going to visit Annie and Jalna Smith on my own would be desperately stupid, wouldn't it? Gimlet cocked her head to the side. You're right. They aren't letting your daddy out anytime soon. Gimlet's head cocked the other direction. Valid point. If I'm going to visit them, I should let someone know where I'm going. Any suggestions? The little dog stood, tail wagging, and opened her mouth to pant happily up at Tesla. She bounced off her front legs, her signal for wanting to go for a walk. Perfect! Cleverest dog! Tesla capped her fountain pen and picked up the ship phone that sat on the desk in old planet splendor. She called Shal's room. So close.
She called.
Old planet splendor.
She called Shal's room in sickbay.
Awesome.
Oh, great.
So, 8:30 your time tonight?
8:30 my time tonight. Indeed.
All right.
Thank you for the day.
Likewise.
And we'll see you all later.
Yes, indeed.